Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units, and this time it is the first part of two parts regarding the Battle of Mohacs. So this is the Hungarian army, again 20mm of course, mostly plastics. There are also some metal, but mostly plastics, and most of them are conversions, as there is nothing on the market in terms of plastics dedicated exclusively to the Hungarians. You can use some Orion, some RedBox, that kind of Eastern manufacturers that, touch sometimes this period and this region, but frankly, there isn't. So you need to use other figures and make some conversions and use specific flags, etc., to have a proper plastic army. If you don't want to do so, for instance, you can contact the guy that makes this lovely metal figures, which is Takács Krisztián in Hungary, and he can provide several types of both Ottomans and Hungarians in 20mm for you in metal. It's what I did with these hussars, these Hungarian hussars. So why Mohacs? I'm in Portugal. There's nothing to do, of course, not much to do with Hungary. But a few, maybe 11, 12 years ago, I went to Hungary. I visited this battlefield, and I got hooked because the battle is a very extremely interesting one. Once again, a very big act of courage from both sides. The Hungarian with much less men, maybe almost half of the men of the Turkish army, decided to attack, which is something, a little bit crazy in terms of the rules of war, as everybody knows. With 1/3 of the artillery that the Turks had, they decided to go on the offensive, and they lost. The battle is a massacre for the Hungarians. There's also a reason for that, because in fact the guy that decided to move forward, which was the most experienced commander, which is this one here, Paltomori, convinced the king, Ludwig II, to go forward, because the Turkish army was much bigger, and he was arriving piecemeal at the battlefield. The battlefield is chosen by the Hungarians, which chose a flat surface, which is ideal for their heavy cavalry, of course. But as the Turkish army was arriving, the Ottoman army was arriving in small portions to the battlefield, they decided to go forward and try to defeat them piecemeal. It didn't work because somehow the Hungarians lost some time organizing the attack, and then when they launched the attack with infantry first and then with cavalry, the Ottoman lines were already set in. So, and their firepower was tremendous, and destroyed the Hungarian attacks. And then, of course, the usual sipahis from both sides attacked the Hungarian lines and crushed the Hungarian army. This is so a little bit of the story of this event. So you see here the different types of military of the Hungarians of those days. The Black Army of Corvinus has been disbanded a few years before. You can also use some of them, of course, for the Corvinus famous Black Army, but in fact, it was an inferior army to the one from the past. It was a little bit antiquated, not many guns, still relying on the heavy cavalry to give a punch to the enemy lines. The infantry was still advancing with their heavy armored vests and using pavises to fight from behind them. So it was a little bit, I'm not going to say that it's completely outdated, but in fact, against the firepower of the Ottoman Turks, it was really a little bit too little. So here you see crossbowmen, as you can see, in the first half line, if I can call it. Then you see here plenty of archers also. You can see the flags, which I made my own flags. I painted them, then I photocopied them, and I'm using them for my Hungarians. In fact, I'm building this for some 11 years, maybe 3, 4, 5 stands a year, because building this, painting this this kind of figure is not very easy because there is not two figures alike. So I mean, it is time consuming, as you know. So you have here the heavy cavalry, the main part of the Hungarian army, the flower of the Hungarian army, if I can call it. Here you see here the hussars. Also in the middle of the cavalry, I placed some ribots de caen, which are this very funny artillery pieces, which were completely scratch built with some artillerymen, if you can call them like that in this period. Why not? And finally, the infantry. The infantry is also a large group. All these shields were they were not unpainted. Don't worry. I use photocopies, and then I glue them to pre-painted blue, white, green plastic shields to make the Hungarian pavizes. So this was my trick to speed up this kind of things. Then if you place plenty of varnish, you can't feel the difference between the photocopy and the plastic where the photocopy is glued to. So in the first rank you see the Klipiati, which are the guys that hold the shield and prepare the shield and fight with swords mostly, and then to the back you see with their long shafts and lances and some long halberds. You see the armati, which are to the back of the Klipiati. I made them like this. I'm not sure if it is the most correct way to portray it in terms of Impetus, because in Impetus they are separate stands. But frankly, I like to see them like this. Here they are. And finally, there are some Landsknecht, some German Landsknecht, with their famous tactic of using very long pikes surrounded with muskets and swordsmen. Okay, so this is regarding a little bit of tactics and a little bit of the types of soldiers of this army. Regarding brands, so you see here in the crossbowmen you see Zvezda, best brand in the world in terms of plastics. Unfortunately, not very commonly seen nowadays, as everybody knows. There are also some lucky toys here placed, like the standard bearers. They are Ottoman lucky toys, but they pass very well by Hungarians. Even the shield. Whoops! Even the shield can be, as you can see, can pass typically by a Hungarian one. And then you start here with some Orion archers, late medieval archers, and then all these figures. That many of them are the same, with bent arms and things like that. I make them slightly different from each other. They are from a very large and very funny, very good box. It's not a box; it's a bag of AliExpress miniatures, which come in the 200 miniature bag. They are copies of Caesar. You can find them online, extremely cheap and extremely good. They are copies of Caesar. Caesar is also Chinese, so there is not a big deal here, as you may imagine, in terms of justice, in international justice, as many fear. There's no problem probably. And they are 200 miniatures. I have here maybe 130, something like that, because this large group of Klipiati and Armati are also from the same box. On here, what is not here is in fact from that box is the maybe 12th century, 13th century, 13th century miniatures. All other from the late 14th century and beginning of late 14th and 15th century, even beginning of 16th century are all here. So this is regarding these guys here. Front rank to the back, you can see cavalry, heavy cavalry, mainly by Miniart and Zvezda again, making a very colorful group, as you can see. And also, as I told you, not easy to paint because dealing with them individually, making different shields for everybody, it's very cost. So it's, as I told you, it's something slow, maybe 4 or 5 stands a year, in the middle of all my other projects, of course. Because after a while, it gets boring, you know, to make individuals and not units somehow. Well, but it's a great pleasure to paint. I paint them effectively. I paint all these guys already glued to the stand, and then I place I base them and flock them with everybody set in. Even the painting is everybody set in. Just, sometimes I paint them with spray first, black spray, and then I go with lighter colors, mostly dye brush, especially on the armored parts. Other parts, in other moments, I paint them with first with a large brush of black, using black, and then I go from darker to lighter colors in everybody. So the king is here. God save the king. In fact, God didn't save the king in this battle. He died in the battle. Ludwig II here. Again, I think he's yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he's a Zvezda figure. Yeah. So they are repeating more or less the same across all these stands here. Okay. So then come the hussars. Very lovely figures by Takács Krisztián, an Hungarian wargamer and modeler, and he also produces this very fine metal figures. He also has others that you can buy from him. Look for him on Facebook, and you can find Takács Krisztián. Again, the figures from China, the copies of Caesar copies. The armati to the back have many of their halberds and small lances and whatever changed to pikes, to longer lances, as they used to have to, as they have to fight above the shields of the Clipiati. Clipiati on their own are armed with mostly with swords, and there they go, all along this line. Then the Landsknecht. Landsknecht are, these ones are Orion, if I'm not mistaken, this group of armati. Oops, let's try to focus, sorry. Yeah, they are just from the same stand as these guys here and these guys here. From the same box, sorry. And the Landsknecht, they are, and they are Dark Dream Studio. They come from 2 different boxes. They have a box with pikemen and another one with muskets and swordsmen, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like that. So I think I've showed you everything. So the next video will be the Ottoman army, which is slightly bigger than this one. In fact, it should be much bigger. But both of them are still on their growing procedure. They are still in more or less teenage armies, because I'm going to add more stuff to these guys, namely some fighters, some musket fighters from Takács Krisztián, and also a few more hussars from him also, and whatever I can find. And especially I need also to make some command groups, because I placed the commanders. You can see here Paltomori here with his beard. I found his barrel sight in a place called Kolach, if I'm not say Kolach, and he is wearing a beard. He's using a beard, so I paint the figure with the beard, as you can see. So then you have Ludwig II, and I want to place all these figures on individual stands also, or with an ADC, if I could call it, but in a round stand. And you can see here's the guy also. There is Peter Pereni. So they were the commanders of the several parts of the cavalry. This is the left wing, Baltimore is in the right wing, and in the center, a little bit to the back, as a reserve, there was the king. So I hope you have enjoyed. This is my approach to the Hungarian army, based for Impetus, namely this extra Impetus number 3, as you can see there. And this is one regards the Ottoman Empire and a few other armies. And you can see here the Jagiellon Hungarians. That is the one that is on top of on the table, and these are the Ottoman Turks for the same period. So I hope you have enjoyed, and see you next with another big unit. Bye bye, and have a happy New Year. Okay, bye bye.